This is a 6.5 millimeter PRC. And today, I'm going to compare it to the 6.5 Creedmoor and the 270 Winchester. Hey everybody, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. And yeah, go ahead, I'll wait. There you go. Let's get back to the video. So yeah, the 6.5 PRC. I recently bought a Bergara B14 Ridge rifle. I've got a video on that, link down below. And I chambered it in the 6.5 PRC. I kind of didn't go with the Creedmoor, not out of Creedmoor hatred, but I did a video, you might recall, comparing the 7mm 08 to the 6.5 Creedmoor. Link to that video down below as well. That was a real popular video. A lot of you liked it. And it's basically a ballistic twin, and I have a rifle chambered in 7mm 08. So the 6.5 Creedmoor really just didn't make sense for me. And I thought about getting a 270 Winchester because I've always loved that cartridge. I've never owned a 270 Winchester. I've owned a lot of guns over the years, but I've never had a 270 Winchester. And that cartridge is 100 years old this year, and it's still a major cartridge. They still chamber brand new rifles in it. They still sell tons of different loads for it. And I love the sort of the ballistic numbers on it. But this 6.5 PRC really intrigued me because it's giving me almost 270 power. It's a little bit lighter hitting than a 270, but not by much. Animal ain't gonna know the difference. But it offers me all the modern, long, heavy for caliber bullets. It's a short action cartridge. It's inherently accurate. However, the 6.5 PRC is not without its troubles. And I'm not just gonna sit here and go rah, rah, go team, go. I am gonna talk about a few things that have got me a little nervous about this cartridge, but I still bought it. The real issue that I have, there's two issues that I kind of have with this cartridge. One of them I kind of heard about, but I wasn't sure if it was fake news or not, and that's the feeding. And the other is it's an overbore cartridge, and that's true. There's no issue there. It is an overbore cartridge. And an overbore cartridge, if you look at this, the cartridge, it's super fat down here at the bottom, and then it's necked way down into the skinny little 6.5 millimeter bullet. The problem with that is it's technically less efficient because the powder column is really wide. It's all getting forced in there, and I'm not an engineer, a ballistics engineer, but what happens is a lot of really hot gas, plasma hot, escapes into the throat of your barrel and tends to wear out your barrel faster. This is nothing new. The 220 Swift way back in like the 40s and 50s was famous for being a barrel burner because it was kind of the same thing, a big fat cartridge, you know, neck down to a 22. And this is kind of the same thing. This cartridge, this is a Magnum base. So this is fatter than a 30-06. So it's fatter than the 270. And all that powder is in there and it's getting forced in behind the bullet there. And that can be a bit of a barrel burner. Now, the reality is, you know, I've heard people say, oh, you're only going to get 800 to 1,000 shots. You know, I've done a lot of research on that. And no, you're going to get 1,500 to 2,500 shots before your barrel starts to show any signs of excessive wear and before you start to see accuracy problems. Now, if you're a hand loader and you're loading these things hot, yeah, you could definitely burn up your barrel much quicker than that. Here's the deal. This is already a hot cartridge. You don't need to overpressure this. You don't need to put extra powder in there. This sucker is already plenty powerful enough for pushing a 6.5 millimeter bullet. So anyway, those are the two concerns. The feeding, I've already noticed it. It sometimes is sometimes this guy just doesn't want to go smoothly up the feed ramp. Now, I haven't had the thing not load yet. So I've tested running the bolt. I've had the gun out at the range. It isn't a problem. If this were a dangerous game cartridge, I'd be a little nervous about it because, but it's not. 6.5 PRC is not exactly a dangerous game cartridge. But if it were, I'd be a little worried about the feeding. But for hunting deer and elk and, those types of animals, you're going to be able to get a second shot off if you need to. But it's definitely a little, sometimes this guy just doesn't really want to go smoothly into the bore. And I think it's that sharp, massive shoulder angle there. And you look at a round like the Creedmoor is a little smoother. The 270 it barely got a shoulder at all. I mean, it's obviously got one because it's neck down from the 30-06, but it's a really gentle shoulder. It's not the aggressive modern. So those are really my only two complaints. And I'm not worried about the barrel burning. I'm not going to be ripping thousands of rounds through this. But there are things that need to be discussed about the cartridge. They will come up. You will hear people talk about that. Some people exaggerate it. Those are the people that don't like the cartridge. And I think people who love this cartridge are probably, maybe stretching out that barrel life the other way. Oh no, you'll get 5,000 rounds. I don't think so. Maybe if you download it, which by the way, there's nothing, if you're a hand loader, there's nothing stopping you from loading this down a little bit and make it more like a Creedmoor. And then it's going to be fine. So, however you want to handle it, take that for what it's worth. Why did I pick this over the 270? And I may still buy a 270 rifle. I've been sniffing around looking at them. I need another rifle like I need an aneurysm. I still love 270. But the 6.5 fits more neatly in my arrangement of cartridges from a 24. This is a 26. I've got a 28. I've got a bunch of 30s. So it kind of fits in there nice and neat. The 27 is real close to the 7mm. And so, I was kind of spacing it out a little. Yeah, it's probably silly, but I did it anyway. And I like that these were designed for precision long range. And that means they really, really focused on making this an accurate cartridge. And I would say that this is probably nearly as accurate as the Creedmoor. I don't think it's as accurate as the Creedmoor because the Creedmoor, they deliberately dialed that one back a little bit. Sometimes when you really have a hot load, it can affect the accuracy in a negative way. However, this was designed for precision long-range shooting, and you've got to be accurate in order to pull that off. So I like the idea that this is going to be an inherently accurate cartridge. The Bergara is famous for having super high quality, super accurate barrels. And so I've got an accurate rifle. I've got an accurate round. It's all on me. If I'm off target, probably my fault. For a lot of people, guys, I think the Creedmoor is a better round than this. In fact, I think for most people, the 6.5 Creedmoor is a superior round to this. Now, this has got way more power than a 6.5 Creedmoor. We're going to see that on the charts. It's not even close. You Creedmoor guys don't say, no, we're talking 250 feet per second faster. So this thing will absolutely kick the living daylights out of the 6.5 Creedmoor all day long, twice on Sundays. So why is it not better? Well, couple of things. Creedmoor has a lot more mild recoil than this. This has got a little bit of kick. It's not terrible. I'd say it's about the same as the 270. So it's got more recoil. Generally speaking, no matter how experienced you are as a shooter, a softer recoiling cartridge is going to help you be more accurate. A lot of people are really skilled at handling rifles with a lot of recoil. But I'll tell you what, even those people are going to be a better shot with softer recoiling rifles. That's just a fact. So the Creedmoor has that advantage. For deer hunting, which is what most people are doing with 6.5 Creedmoor. Yes, can you take an elk with a 6.5 Creedmoor? Of course you can. But most people that are using 6.5 Creedmoor for hunting are taking deer. And for deer, this is way more than you need for deer. Okay? The Creedmoor is putting out plenty of energy all the way through the entire range of deer hunting to put down deer at 200, 300, 400 yards. No problem. The Creedmoor is accurate, probably a little more accurate than this. So for a deer hunter, I'd say the Creedmoor is the better cartridge compared to this. Now, if you want to step up, continue to use a 6.5 and take elk, and you want a little more consistent killing power at longer ranges than the Creedmoor can do, yeah, this is going to have a lot more elk killing power way down range. 200, 300, 400 yards further down range than the Creedmoor. It's also a flatter shooting cartridge. This guy's coming out 250 to 300 feet per second faster than the Creedmoor. It's going to be flatter. I mean, who doesn't like a flat shooting rifle? Seriously. So that's another advantage. Your point blank range on this is the 143 ELDX right here, which you can get this exact same bullet in 6.5 Creedmoor. And this guy's going almost 300 feet per second faster. I think it's 260. We'll see it on the chart in a minute. This is so much flatter. I can get out over 300 yards point blank range with a 6-inch target. You're not getting that with the Creedmoor. I still think the Creedmoor is a better cartridge for deer, just for whitetails and muleys and black-tailed deer out here in western Washington. I think the Creedmoor is really a better cartridge. This cartridge, though, can step out, go reach things further away, flatter trajectory. If you're doing mountain goats up in the mountains, you're taking long shots across canyons, this is a better cartridge than the Creedmoor for sure. Now, what about that 270? Because I did bring that into the mix. The 270 is even faster than this guy. Not by much. They're very, very similar. The 270 is just a wee bit faster than this cartridge with the similar bullet. In fact, the 270 Hornady offers this ELDX bullet in the 270. It's a couple of grains heavier. It's a 145, and it's not quite as slippery as this bullet, but it's the same basic bullet design, and the 270 pushes that bullet 20 feet per second faster than this guy does. The 6.5 PRC and the 270 ballistically are very, very similar. And so let's take a look at how these cartridges compare, and we can see which might be best for you. So let's look at these three. You can see that Creedmoor has the most drop over 1,000 yards, followed by the 270, and then the flattest shooting the PRC. Now, the PRC is edging out the Winchester over long distances because of its aerodynamic efficiency. But if you look at the 270 and the 6.5 PRC, they are dead even out to 400 yards. Okay, it's PRC versus Creedmoor to start out. You can see the initial velocity of 2960 against just 2700 is a pretty big difference. It affects the energy in a pretty big way and certainly helps it shoot much flatter. Let's go out to 400 yards. Keep in mind, both of these have the exact same projectile, but the extra speed of the PRC is helping it with drop and helping it with wind resistance, beating the Creed in both categories. Okay, so both of these cartridges deliver plenty of deer killing energy out to normal hunting distances. When you get all the way down to 1,000 yards for the precision long range stuff, the PRC is dunking all over the Creedmoor. Okay, the Centurion, the 270 Winchester. What a great cartridge. This is going to be a close call here. If you've already got a 270 for hunting deer, you don't need a 6.5 PRC. If you want to shoot long range, yeah, maybe a PRC. Let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, so right out the gate, you can see that the velocities are almost identical, and the bullet weight on these two is pretty close as well. The PRC just has an aerodynamic advantage, and we'll see that as we go further down range. All right, at 200 yards, the power advantage for the 270 is gone. At 300 yards, they're neck and neck on drop, but at 400 yards, the PRC starts to pull away, and the further down range we go, the more it smashes the 270. Well, that 270 hangs in there pretty good out to 1,000, but the PRC is definitely taking it to the woodshed for a good old-fashioned beatdown. So there it is, guys. The 6.5 Creedmoor is outclassed in performance here among these cartridges. As far as the PRC versus the 270, these are very, very similar cartridges. The 270 available in more rifles, probably more available on store shelves and around the world. But out beyond about 200-300 yards, it's not quite as strong as the PRC. So there you have it, the 6.5 PRC, excellent cartridge, but so is the 6.5 millimeter Creedmoor, and so is that amazing 270 Winchester. I hope you found this information useful. Please come back, visit us again, hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll see you next time right here on Vanguns.